Hello and welcome, I'm Sanjay Pinto. 24 hours after a police talkathon with internet center owners to keep terrorists and other criminals at bay, our crime reporter does a reality check. He walks into a browsing center and signs in as Michael Jackson. Can you just beat it? No one notices. He isn't asked for address proof or ID proof. Neither is there any CCTV surveillance. The times we live in, scary, isn't it? Stay tuned for an exclusive report in this bulletin. But then there are also sections of society that believe in cleaning up the mess themselves, even if it means putting up their own people to fight the civic body polls. That's another special report coming up. And do the Chennai Super Kings have a reason or just excuses for their dismal performance? We'll be joined live by our sports reporter Natasha Doraiswamy, as well as our crime reporter Salim, who broke that big browsing center story. Not to speak of the color of Gullu and the Dandiya. All this and much more over the next 30 minutes, so don't touch that remote. First, the headlines. The most basic security guidelines ignored by many internet browsing centers in Chennai. An NDTV Hindu exclusive. A delegation of activists against the Kudangulam project decide to take their concerns directly to 7 Racecourse Road. Will the Prime Minister wave the red flag? Self-help is what many localities in Chennai prefer, as they field their own candidates from their welfare associations instead of the mainstream parties.
And we are getting our own needs by federation. We have not met a councillor once yet.
Are private players the best bet in overcoming Tamil Nadu's power struggle of a different kind?
Has been spending nearly 15 to 20 crores per day buying private power on a daily basis, has now been forced to actually double its expenditure, spending nearly 30 to 35 crores.
Fans bitter and disappointed with the Chennai Super Kings knocked out of the tournament. And NDTV Hindu dances to the tunes of the Dandiya.
A colourful festival, upbeat music, yummy delicious food.
Now for a slice of the national headlines. The Maoist offer of a 1-month ceasefire is a first step towards a permanent solution to the Bengal crisis, says a government interlocutor. The PDP keeps the pressure on the Abdullah government over the alleged custody death of an activist. They take out a protest rally in Srinagar. Pakistan is a twin brother, India a great friend. President Karzai says Islamabad shouldn't be affected by the strategic partnership. Under attack for his comments slamming Narayana Murthy for his IIT remark, Chetan Bhagat tweets, "I don't need this, all is well." J.K. Tripathi is not the first police commissioner of Chennai to sensitize the owners of internet parlors in the city on the need to follow the most basic precautions and to alert the cops if they suspect any customer. Just last evening, the city's top brass convened a long meeting with representatives of internet centers. Now, hardly 24 hours later, a reality check by our crime correspondent Salim is quite alarming. Many of these browsing centers are just not following the most basic guidelines, like asking for address proof or even capturing images of customers. Take a look.
Basic thing what they have been told is that they should know their customers, so that if their IP address is found in any crime, we must track down the accused.
Sound advice that we decided to test. It's 10 in the morning and I walked into an internet cafe in Triplicane. I entered my name as Michael Jackson in the log register. The manager did not demand any ID proof or even care to read the celebrity name. System number 8 was allotted to me. It's a closed cabin. Nobody could peep into my system. I created a Gmail account with a duplicate name and could have easily sent a mail threatening a VIP or a bomb hoax. I paid 10 rupees and got out of the browsing center. Would they be able to identify me later? No way. The net cafe was not under CCTV surveillance. On Tuesday, the Central Crime Branch of the Chennai Police convened a meeting with the internet cafe owners in the city. Over 800 cafe owners participated. They were asked to collect ID proof of customers, install web cameras, not to have closed cabins, and to submit the details of log register to the local police station on the 5th of every month. Clearly, this warning has had no effect. A wake-up call to the 1,200 odd licensed internet centers in Chennai. Otherwise, there could be serious trouble brewing not just for these browsing centers, but for the cops, and indeed all of us. In Chennai, Salim for NDTV Hindu.
All right, let's now cut across to Salim, who broke that story. Salim, honestly, is this a one-off practice that you managed to catch on your hidden camera, or is this rampant? Is this practiced everywhere?
I visited few internet centers, Sanjay, this morning, and most of them did not ask me for an ID proof. And secondly, they have closed cabins, and as well as they don't have any CCTV cameras. And in fact, most of the internet centers in Chennai follow the same steps. That is what we are hearing from the cybercrime cops as well as from the local inspector. The local inspector have the powers to grant a license to these internet service, to these internet cafe, as well as to cancel the license. He can in fact recommend for the cancellation of license to the administration department housed in the Commissioner of Police office in Egmore. Sanjay?
Salim, in fact, the Additional Commissioner, Crime and Headquarters, Abhay Kumar Singh, had also warned of action, saying that these internet cafe owners could be vicariously liable if any hoax mails are sent or any threatening emails are sent. They don't seem to have taken the warning really seriously. Probably they've not understood the seriousness of their acts of omission in this case.
Absolutely, Sanjay. Mr. Abhay Kumar Singh has said that he has asked the local inspectors to go and visit these browsing centers periodically, because after the introduction, initially the police were controlling these internet centers with the help of the Madras City Police Act 1888, and after the introduction of the Information Technology Act 2008, Section 87 provides Section 87 says that central government in fact shall frame rules according to the act, and in fact the additional commissioner has very clearly said that he has instructed the local inspector to go and visit these browsing centers. In fact, if the norms are being violated, then he can clearly write to the administration department in the commissioner's office, who in turn will take steps to cancel these licenses.
All right, it's Ayudha Puja today, so is it that the police were really not on their toes today, Salim? But I'm told that there's also a meeting late at night convened by the police. What's been the police response so far to our story?
Sanjay, the police say that in fact they have a very difficult time with these internet cafe owners, because in most of the cases they go in search of the accused, and finally they land up at one of these internet centers and they find that these web address, the name used by the offender is hoax, and it is false, and in fact they send many hoax calls to many VVIPs in the city, and in fact the city police very clearly say that be it hardcore crimes or be it cyber crimes, they have very difficult time as far as investigation is concerned, and hence they organized this meeting to sensitize these internet cafe owners, and they say that it's very sad on their part to see that they have not been sensitized and they have not taken it seriously. Now the police say that they will go on periodical check, and in case if they are found violating these norms, then their license will be cancelled. And in second point, in case if any person sends any threatening mail to VVIPs in the city, and in fact if the police zero in on the particular internet centers and if they are unable to provide the database, then the police say that they will go for the arrest of the internet cafe owners.
All right, that's quite a wake-up call then to those 1,200 odd internet centers, browsing centers in Chennai. Salim, on a lighter note, finally to ask you, as you probably did that moonwalk into that browsing center in Triplicane, and you actually wrote Michael Jackson there in that login register. Didn't the owner or anyone there even look at it?
No, Sanjay, they, in fact, in some of they didn't look at it, and in fact,
what was the address you mentioned there? Did you write Timbuktu there?
No, I didn't write any address in the log register. I simply mentioned Michael Jackson, and I wrote the telephone number as well as the in time. The owner didn't ask me any question. He asked me to take system number 8, and in fact, in some other internet centers, they normally don't even demand an ID proof. In fact, they argue. Initially, I asked an internet center owner. Say for example, you have attended the meeting, but you are not following the rules. For that, he says, we charge a minimum of 10 rupees per 30 minutes. I cannot argue with the customer. In case if I argue with the customer, then I lose a customer. There are many internet centers in Chennai and the customer prefers the other internet center which is easily accessible.
All right, point there, but Salim, clearly it's a community effort, not just the internet service, not just the internet owners, but also I think customers need to cooperate with them to follow the rules. But should we at the end of it say this is it? Thank you very much, Salim, for breaking that story and bringing us up to speed with all those developments. Moving on now, the protesters against the Kudankulam nuclear power project have now decided to seek an audience with the Prime Minister to make their voices heard. A 10-member delegation of the group spearheading the protest against the power project would meet Dr. Manmohan Singh in New Delhi on Friday to discuss their concerns about the project. Protests by locals have erupted over the commissioning of the 1,000-megawatt project being built with Russian collaboration over safety concerns. The announcement comes in the backdrop of protesters threatening to hold a statewide stir from Sunday if work on commissioning of the plant is not suspended. On the 22nd September, if you remember, the State Cabinet adopted a resolution requesting the centre to halt the work on the Indo-Russian project till the apprehensions and fears of the local people were allayed. Moving on, while mayoral candidates are going all out to announce their promises for voters of different areas, how many of them have actually given thought to find out what the residents really want? Have the candidates interacted with the residents or voters before creating their mandate? Or the residents, do they actually believe that a new local body will solve their civic issues? Pratiksha Ramkumar got a sense of the truth.
Campaigns come and campaigns go, but who will have the lasting impact? AIADMK candidate Saida Eduraisamy, like every other candidate, is trying every spell in the book to woo his voters across the city. Today's focus being West Mogappair and Nolambur, and it's the water, drainage, roads formula almost everywhere.
அடிப்படை வசதிகளான பாதாள சாக்கடை, குடிநீர், மழைநீர் கால்வாய், சுகாதாரமான தெருக்கள், இந்த சாலை வசதி, மேம்படுத்தப்பட்ட சாலை வசதிகள்.
Promises, promises and more promises, heard 10 times over, while other candidates are hardly any different. It's the disappearance after election syndrome, so it's hardly surprising that residents of West Mogappair aren't impressed. They say it's been 15 whole years since they met a ward councillor.
Many of the roads are not laid for the past 10 years. The roads have not seen any blue metal so far. We have given so many letters to commissioners and other peoples. They were saying we will look after it, but they have not done anything.
Drainage வசதி எல்லாம் அந்த காவாயில தூக்கி விட்டுறாங்க அந்த ஏரியாவில். அதனால அது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரெண்டாவது ரோடு வசதி சுத்தமாக முகப்பேர் ஏரி திட்டத்தில் கிடையாது. ஏரி திட்டங்கிறதே பேர் ஏரி மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு. ரோடே கிடையாது, லைட் வசதி அடிப்படை லைட் வசதியே கிடையாது.
Like many other localities in the city, the Mogappair and Nolambur Residents Welfare Association have given up on political parties and nominated a fellow resident for ward councillor.
We have not met a councillor once, and this made us to make up our mind. Let us have our own candidate, and I myself came forward, and we have been doing all our works on basic needs by own federation. Basic needs, madam, water, basic water, transport.
While the candidates' promises of better roads and better drainage facility actually seem to be matching the demands of the people of this area, but the day after their election with their work can actually break the residents' cynical view of local body candidates will have to be seen. In Chennai, with camera person Kuti Raja, Pratiksha Ramkumar for NDTV Hindu.
You know, that story reminds me of what happened in Bihar some time back, where residents went around holding a placard with a missing boat saying, "Have you seen our MLA?" Well, moving on, the power crisis in the state is reaching a new sense of seriousness, with rural areas, or at least reports of rural areas, going without power during the day, causing hardship to students and farmers, and of course the non-arrival of coal to thermal power stations in the state, which many say is due to the Telangana agitation. Now, sources tell us that the TNEB has been forced to spend at least 15 to 20 crore rupees more over the last 1 week due to the Telangana problem. The PMK had alleged that Tamil Nadu was under the grip of undeclared power cuts. The government is now ready, we are told, to purchase power from the open market to tide over a 1,026 megawatt shortfall on account of the Telangana stir and the Orissa floods. Clearly, the private bodies are largely to benefit from this deal. And Pratiksha Ramkumar gives us her analysis of the situation.
Definitely a time for celebration for private power producers, and also a very, very difficult time for the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. Now, the board, which has been spending nearly 15 to 20 crores per day buying private power on a daily basis, mainly because of its huge power shortage, has now been forced to actually double its expenditure, spending nearly 30 to 35 crores a day in buying private power. Now, this is mainly because of the Telangana crisis. Mainly, Tamil Nadu Electricity Board's main power sources are from the Kalpakam, Neyveli, and the Singarelli power plant with Talcher and Ramakundam. Now, mainly because of the Telangana crisis, power supply from these power plants have been affected in a huge way, which is why they have been facing around 1026 megawatt short supply per day. Now, after Chief Minister Jayalalitha really sanctioned or even directed the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board to move to private power producers, they have been really buying power at the rate of around 6 rupees per unit, and they have also increased the buying of wind energy at around 3.38 rupees per unit. So definitely a very, very good time for power producers. They are very happy about the price being given by the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board and also the amounts being bought. But another huge problem is the financial burden the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board is in. They are already facing a burden of around 40,000 crore debt, which has not been bailed out by the centre, and the Tamil Nadu government through its efforts are trying to pay a few debts off, but that's not happening, not in a huge way. Whatever's happening is just an ad hoc arrangement. Now, another huge issue is that these private power producers are also unhappy of the fact that Tamil Nadu Electricity Board has not really cleared payments for many of them. In fact, they are saying that the payments from the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board has really been very, very slow over the last few months, and they're hoping the situation will improve by the end of the year.
We're also told that if it's not power cuts, there's also low voltage. So sometimes your ACs may not really work, stabilizers wouldn't really support that. Well, a newborn baby born to a surrogate mother is facing a bleak future in Coimbatore. A childless couple who opted for this have not turned up to get the baby or even pay the promised money to the poor woman who carried the child in her womb. Sam Daniel has this rather tragic story.
A surrogate mother cheated and abandoned. Rajeshwari says she offered her womb for 5 lakh rupees, hoping that would end poverty in her family. But after childbirth, the hospital that lured her on behalf of an anonymous rich couple has refused to pay the promised cash and would not pass on the baby to its legal parents either. Now, she and her watchman husband are seeking legal help.
Of the biological father doesn't want to pay the money and put the case against the lady for cheating.
The hospital authorities refused to speak to us on camera, but they blame it on the surrogate mother that initially she had agreed for 1 lakh rupees but soon demanded 5 times. Although the Coimbatore police had earlier filed an FIR against the poor lady, soon they cancelled it. They say they can do nothing about it. Caught in what could be a long-drawn legal battle is this month-old baby. Presently, there's no clear law on surrogacy in India, but just guidelines, which is why India is now the most preferred destination for childless couples. Clearly, a lot needs to be done to ensure surrogate mothers who are mostly poor are paid their dues. And most importantly, this intervention does not produce a new breed of unwanted babies. With camera person Nesraj in Coimbatore, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
The heart certainly goes out to that mother and child there. More news after a short break, but stay tuned because we'll tell you why there are obstacle courses and no pavements really even on arterial roads in Chennai.